Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you may be tuning in, this is Yonks with Gigs Go Green, and this is our first working group for HeroX Solve It Challenge. And we've got Tyler, Amy, and Eric is a new participant. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to hop right in. Let's take a look here at the rules. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is largely copying the narrative from our Community Energy Innovation Prize that we submitted in February. I think that there's a little bit of differences, and I can't remember what our word count was on that, but the Solve It Prize has a 2,000 word count limit. And let me go ahead and bring open real quick in here our HeroX Solve It team. So here's currently our HeroX Solve It team. And I sent this person, this was somebody Hassan sent us a join request, but I haven't seen any participation from them. I requested that they hop on a calendar invite, so it'll be interesting to see if they make it on here. So Solve It, taking a look, enabling innovative solutions for local energy related challenges. And our deadline here, this is Wednesday, April the 10th. The deadline for submitting this is Friday, April the 12th, 5 p.m. So we're planning to have one more working group on this, and taking a look here at the timeline. So April 10th, you were here, submission deadline. So this is phase one and the opportunity at hand. Taking a look here, Solve It prize structure. So phase one, embark, 25 winners will be awarded $80,000 of prize money. And one of the things that's very fabulous about prize money compared to grant money is that prize money is considered for work completed, and it doesn't really have a lot of the red tape that grant money has. So we've been using this HeroX. This is now our fourth prize that we've submitted for over the last 6 to 9 months, where we've continued to refine the Gigs Go Green narrative. So let's take a look at the what to submit for phase one in section 3.5 of the rules. So one of the things that I thought was interesting about this is that it doesn't have a video requirement. I think this is the first out of the 6 HeroX prize. Well, this will be the 6th one. So the previous 5 that we submitted all had a video requirement. So I thought that was kind of interesting that wasn't included. One of the things that I'm pretty excited about, I'm expecting to receive at least one letter of support, maybe a couple letters of support. And that's one of the additional things that we haven't had within several of our prior HeroX submissions. So one of the things here that let's take a look here, submission narrative. So taking a look, submit a written narrative that describes the individual or team you have assembled, the energy challenges and community needs that you have identified, and the engagement plan you have crafted. Narratives may not exceed 2,000 words and may include up to 5 tables and figures. So we've got let me see if I have it in this window here. Yeah, so here is the submission template that they provided in the resources section over here. So taking a look at the resources. So here's the rules document that we were looking at, and here's the submission template. So I uploaded the submission template, submission toolkit that they call it, and this is completely templated. Like, we haven't started filling in any of the details, and this is where we're looking to largely copy and paste from our previous narrative and ensure that it complies with the word count. And one of the things that I think that will be a little different about this one is that we're going to include a couple figures. One of the things that I'm really excited about is literally yesterday, as of yesterday afternoon, evening, we are now patent pending for cooperative ownership using blockchain property tokens. So that's one of the figures that planning on submitting within the narrative. And another one that planning on including, and I don't think that we included it within our prior submission, but let me pull that up here real quick, was the Euler diagram that, let's see where it's at. Here it is. So here's the Euler diagram that really talks about the synergistic cooperatives that we're launching through Gigs Go Green. Tesla Black as a decentralized autonomous organization. That's what DAO stands for. Solar EV, which is where we're looking to become the energy company, and then providing renewable energy. And just to provide a little backstory, like I've personally done since 2016, 12,000 trips on Uber and Lyft. And Tyler and I, we picked up our first Tesla in June of 2018, almost 6 years ago. And I've never been an equitable owner in the energy equation of the literally hundreds of thousands of miles that we put on Teslas. We're now on our fourth Tesla. So this is a model that I'm really building for myself to have more equity in the ownership equation. And this is one of the things that we're structuring Gigs Go Green as alternative ownership enterprises. So looking here, submission narrative, experience, and before we talk about the narrative, let's talk about the how that it's assessed, because understanding how that it's assessed is an important element for creating. So experience, and this is one of the things that I wanted to highlight, this last bullet point here, because this is one of the things that I think that we need to do a better job incorporating within our narrative than we did within the Community Energy Innovation Prize. The competitors' proposed work will advance at least one of DOE's 8 policy priorities for Justice 40 initiative implementation. And let's see what this reference is, 29. So this is one of the things that and this was some of the feedback that we received here. Another one that I was looking at is this one right here. The competitor has clearly identified a challenge or challenges impacting the community, has considered how this might be addressed through innovative clean energy solutions as described in section 1.4. So let's actually take a look here at section 1.4 real quick. So section areas of particular interest. So it looks like that there's several, and this is bouncing around because I think that these bullets extend. So grid modernization, and this is one of the things that we're going to be doing, like when we had a conversation, and just to clarify, one of the things that we're doing with this Gigs Go Green model is that we're architecting this model that can be replicated on a state-by-state basis. And we're strategically targeting Colorado with this first initiative, and not going to unpack all of the reasons why that we're targeting Colorado, but grid modernization. And I'm going to just copy this here and throw it in this document. Let's see where it's at. So I'm going to just put in here section 1.4 benefits. Regionalization. Going back to the document. I don't know if the battery storage would be long duration energy storage. It probably would, because we haven't evaluated what solutions, as you could imagine with Tesla Black. We are huge Tesla fans. One of the reasons, and the black actually matters. True story. The color of the car, unless the vehicle is literally black on black, black exterior, black on interior. If the car's not black on black, the Uber or Lyft driver cannot qualify for the ultra premium, the most profitable rides. So that's one of the reasons that we're using black, just to make it very clear. And specifically, we're going to be using 7-passenger Tesla Model Ys. And I think that that's the single sweet spot from a profitability to maximize drivers' income within this model. So anyway, getting back to section 1.4, let me see if I got the, let me throw that in there real quick. Long duration energy storage. And it does have a footnote down here as far as what that's described at. Let's see where it's at. Anyway, solar energy, definitely. Duration energy storage. Solar energy. Vehicles. So we've got 3 aspects of this within, or potentially 4, the long duration energy storage. So this is one of the things that we might be able to better do in the previous narrative. So introduce yourself. This is the template. I think that this stuff all will get removed. Energy challenges and community needs. Like, as somebody that has been doing Uber or Lyft, like, regardless of being an ownership, having equitable ownership in the energy situation, which we have not, most of the DC fast EV charging, and primarily as a Tesla, normally use the Tesla supercharger network, but that is not sourced from renewable energy. It's just sourced from the public utility grid. And here in Colorado, we're primarily focused on the Denver market, which is provided service through Excel Energy, an investor-owned utility. And I think at least a third, maybe 40% of Excel Energy is still coal-powered here in Colorado. So creating this solar EV, which has 3 main components: the solar for generating energy, battery for storing the energy, and DC fast charging. And when we had a conversation with the Colorado Clean Energy Office here earlier in the year, there was never, they weren't aware that that solution existed anywhere in the entire state. So this is a new model that we're going to be bringing. And one of the exciting things about this model is EV charging is, as far as I'm aware, the most expensive energy that gets sold within a particular energy market. And just to put a number behind things, we have averaged over the last year, I think 35 cents a kilowatt. And to put things into perspective, I think it's around 11 or 12 cents here at home. So it's literally 3.5 times more expensive. So that's one of the primary benefits that we're looking to do through this cooperative model, is to create that at a reduced cost for the gig workers in this particular model. So I think the opportunity to really clarify that is here within there. And then the engagement plan. This is also something that's a lot more interesting too. And that's one of the things that we might need to slightly refine the narrative. So that's kind of what the summary of what we're looking to do. And I'm gonna stop talking here and let somebody else chime in some thoughts as far as taking what we've created and then mashing it up in here. Do you want to chime in on that, Tyler or Amy?
I will go through, you sent us a link on that one, right? Because I will go through it tonight and look at the wordings that we are using. I'm sure you're passionate about the topic, and that, like you said earlier, you wanted this because this is like what you're experiencing. But if we can deliver that in a better language and help drive the message across with data, I think that will help. So I just want to go over that and see where we can fine tune it and make it better.
Yeah, and I'll share too, because one of the things that I didn't include within the calendar invite is the previously submitted narrative. I'll send out an email to everybody here, as well as the feedback that we got from the judges here fairly recently, so that we can kind of unpack that and then hopefully incorporate that and elevate our submission to be more what they're looking to have included here. Let's see. Submission narrative. And I'm just looking through this again on the different scoring. And I'm going to bounce back to our uh, team page over here real quick, or the timeline. So judging closed, winner announcement. Because one of the things that is a factor of consideration. So one of the other things that we're planning to do here, potentially as early as next week, maybe on April 16th or 17th, we're wanting to launch our first Kickstarter campaign, where we will be onboarding members into these synergistic cooperatives into Tesla Black DAO. And I think that it may be worthwhile to potentially extend the Kickstarter campaign to coincide where we could potentially get a winner announcement. And if we get the nod, that may amplify momentum of the Kickstarter. And just to go on the record here, my personal goal with our Kickstarter campaign is that I want to onboard 100 members into Tesla Black DAO. And that's where we're going to be providing the membership at a $97 a year membership dynamic. And that will be the first criteria as far as our vetting process of how that we will put drivers. And one of the things that's pretty exciting, you mentioned the GoFundMe that you saw, Eric. That's one of the things that's going to be a big value proposition of being a member, is that we're going to be having regular conversations with the gig workers, basically teaching them how to set up their own GoFundMe. Like I've got some signage in our car so that like a passenger can say, it's basically instead of a tip, GoFundMe with a QR code, and I've got that on the back of the seats there on the for the passengers in the back seat, and then I have one hanging from the Tesla. And one of the exciting things that I haven't really got to explore as far as from a usage standpoint, but I printed some business cards where it's kind of like the premise of a thank you card, but then it's something that I can give the passenger at the end of the ride, like in a narrative, may I give you a thank you card? And then it also says, hey, instead of a tip, GoFundMe. So I'm really excited to see what that will look like. And that's one of the main value propositions, because like the opportunity that we're creating with the regulation crowdfunding offering, where we can raise up to 5 million via each one of these. And the crowdfunding offering isn't for the DAO, that's for the Colorado Public Benefit Cooperative. That's basically the engine at the state level. The DAO is more at like the national/global level from a membership dynamic. So this is one of the images that going to include, and like I said, I don't think that we included this Euler diagram within our prior community energy innovation. So one of the other images that I'm planning to create between now and our working group on Friday is really showcasing the cooperative ownership model that we're using for this. And that model is pretty simple. It's two vehicles, and one vehicle will empower two cooperative gig workers. And imagine driver A having the car Monday to Thursday, driver B having the car as a weekend warrior Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there's reasons that time frame is really strategic, because a lot of the times both Uber and Lyft have incentives during those slices of time. A challenge where drivers can, if they complete a certain number of trips within that window or half week, that they can get an additional economic incentive. And then the other reason that we're doing the two vehicles, one of the solutions that we're wanting to create, we're wanting to build out a parking lot model, like the initial niche. And I don't know like how much that we should potentially bring forward the churches. And let me go here real quick. Churches.gigsgogreen.org. So this is one of the strategic niches that we're targeting, and this is one of the pieces of content that I'm wanting to finish a video for. But we shortlisted here in Colorado using this site selection strategy that I'm not going to unpack right now. But right now we have 18 churches, and we're wanting to get this down to a top 10 list that we're wanting to publish on Earth Day 2024. So we're planning to use this blog post as a conversational piece with these 18 churches, so that we can hopefully use that to narrow the churches down, maybe slightly refine the priority, so that we can create a top 10 list of solar EV for churches in Colorado that we can continue. And then the goal with the top 10 list is to refine that down to 3 projects that we can run here in tandem in 2024 and 2025 to build out our initial proof of concept solar EV surrounding the parking lot model. And the parking lot model is right here. Again, solar, battery storage. And the thing that's a little different about the parking lot model is that it'll be DC fast EV charging. That's where somebody can roll in, go from an almost empty tank to an almost full tank in like 30 minutes or an hour. Enough time to grab a bite to eat, fill up your car, and then finish grinding out your shift. So anyway, getting back here to, I'm going to go back to the rules real quick. So let's see. Competitor's mission, like this is one of the things that's pretty exciting. We have a very ambitious goal going back to our team page here. Mission to onboard 10 million gig workers by 2030, teaching and embracing sustainability while rewarding them with increasing ownership through synergistic cooperatives. And it's a very ambitious goal, but when you think about the opportunity here, transportation is a global opportunity. And that's the exciting thing about using some of the underlying blockchain technology that we are, is that we're really wanting to build this that can scale on a global basis. So anyway, looking here, engagement plan. And again, we'll have to evaluate what it looked like as far as our previous submission. One of the things that I think that we can potentially do a little better job of is the DEI. That seems to be a fairly important component at the federal level, and this is likely going to be, you know, I'm not sure who the judges are that are doing the evaluation here. Going back to the timeline, my only concern, and this is just me thinking out loud, of potentially, and a lot of this will depend on when we get our Kickstarter. Like right now, I'm hoping that we launch our Kickstarter on April 16th. And Kickstarter normally recommends about a 30-day time frame. They found that that's a sweet spot. But the experience that we had with Community Energy Innovation Prize, and I'll have to rewind to look what that looked like from a timeline, but they were late on announcing the winners for that. So again, depending on if we get the Kickstarter launched here this next week, that may impact as far as like what the time frame is, as far as how long that we want the Kickstarter to run. But that's kind of the thoughts that I've got surrounding where we're at, is again, just mashing up the narrative and adding some additional complementary things. and like the letters of support and the figures, I think that that'll add some additional substantiation, especially since we don't have the opportunity to include a video within our submission on this one. So I still hear Brooke upstairs. Did you have anything that you wanted to chime in on the plan here? So most of this work is going to be done asynchronously between now and our next working group. Let me actually open up the Let Us Meet here real quick. We don't have that schedule finalized, but here's the Let Us Meet that we've got and this is the deadline is submission deadline is 5 o'clock, and this is in Mountain Time, so 3 o'clock Mountain Time. I'll throw you the link in here, Eric, so that you can add your availability if you want to participate on that. And then we'll get that scheduled so that we can conclude our submission. And then I'll take a look. I'll probably start the submission between now and our working group on Friday. The main goal is to get all the collateral uploaded. And the main thing is this submission template, the submission toolkit rather. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I've done most of the talking here, but I think that this is kind of summarizing where we're at and what we need to do between now and our working group on Friday. Yeah, and I was looking at your comments here on the thoughts too with the GoFundMe is that when you unpack 5 million that we can raise via regulation crowdfunding, like, and from a time standpoint, 1 year. So whenever our regulation crowdfunding offering goes live, we have 1 year to raise up to 5 million. And just breaking down the numbers, like if I could wave my magic wand, there's really two investors that we would like to see invest. Gig workers, since we're obviously structuring these synergistic cooperatives for the primary benefit of gig workers. And then the second one are Christ believers. And this is one of the things, the other reason that we're targeting churches is when you think about community-based organizations, there's really two that come to the top of mind: schools and churches that are there to serve their local community. And one of the reasons that we're really excited about churches is that our belief is that churches have a higher level of trust and the opportunity to potentially also, besides just building out these distributed energy resources, potentially also onboard investors into this. So if I could wave my magic wand, as far as who that we have investors, we need 5,000 investors that invest $1,000. And we're not making that the minimum. We're planning the minimum investment amount to be $100. And one of the reasons that we have selected $100 is that that's a price point that we have discovered that most people can spend, invest without even having to ask for permission from their significant others. So that's kind of the underlying reason. There's lots of other parking lot opportunities around any metro area, but we're wanting to be very strategic. And one of the things that's pretty exciting, I'm going to bring this up here real quick, is this is a current proposal that we have on snapshot.org. And thank you, Tyler and Amy, for voting on that. This is another use case for blockchain technology, is to facilitate the governance. And here is our snapshot space for Triple Win Foundation. Triple Win Foundation. This is something that I need to update because Triple Win Foundation is actually where Web3 Freedom Club rolls up to. So it's an even larger ecosystem that we're building out. But the one that I wanted to talk about is this one here, WeBiddle 3-Win Protocol for Christ. And here's the link for that proposal. And I'm not going to unpack that all right now, but right now we've had, and there's only 4 people that can vote on this proposal. So like with where it's at, this is a proposal that will pass. So anyway, getting back to this again, I'm going to stop talking. I don't. Are you able to chime in on any thoughts, Tyler, as far as the plan, what needs to happen between now and our working group on Friday? I saw some tears emoji, so I'll take that as a no. Um, does anybody else have any thoughts or questions? I don't even though we've got an hour time slot, I don't think that we necessarily need to sit on here. Most of the work, like I said, is going to be done mashing up the stuff and then continuing to refine the narrative for our submission. I don't see anybody opening up their mic, so I'm gonna call that a wrap here today. And thank you for hopping on, Eric. Hopefully you liked what you saw here, and will join us for our working group on Friday.
Right on. Thank you very much. I hope to learn a lot more with the links you gave.
Well, and that's one of the things that we're really like, as far as creating some culture. One of the things that we are building is a FEL, fun, earning, and learning. So that's one of the things. The way that we build can absolutely be very rapid fire, especially considering that this is a narrative that we've been evolving over the last 6 to 9 months, and the three of us have been building decentralized autonomous organizations and really figuring this out since 2021. We actually launched when Wyoming made available in July of 2021 the one of the organizations that we're going to be, that's a fundamental aspect, retoken the real estate DAO. So we've really been on the bleeding edge of exploring building decentralized communities. And when you think about like the sort of infrastructure that we're talking about building, like an EV charging station, our expectation is that that's going to be minimal as far as on a day-to-day basis, and having a lot of traditional organizational infrastructure we believe is largely just unnecessary overhead, where
Absolutely.
by eliminating that we can provide better returns to the investors and better benefits to the gig workers at better profits, better returns on the investment, and create and build out to a more resilient grid infrastructure, which is one of the bullet points that they're wanting to see talked to in this narrative.
Yeah, and funneling ownership and responsibility into a solution where everyone benefits. I don't see how we can progress as a culture without it.
Yeah,
Not in a
and
way that would benefit all of us.
yeah, and like one of the things that is an unfortunate true story on Uber and Lyft have absolutely had questionable sustainable business models, and on their on their path to even profitability where they're not burning investor dollars. One of the ways that they're moving in that direction is continuing to reduce driver pay and increase what they're charging the general public.
Yep. Yeah.
So
A tried and true corporate model for sure that has its known issues.
absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the. Let me see here. No, I'm not. I'm just going to stop the share here, and we'll call that a wrap for today. But thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon, and hopefully you'll be back for more, because we have fun here, and that's one of the reasons that I personally love this format, is that it besides being a fabulous content strategy, and that's one of the things that we want to get better at, as far as elevating a lot of the content that we're creating through this format and then snipping it out. But that's something hopefully where people that have more time than I do that can help do that on the back end. So
Absolutely. No, it looks great.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your Wednesday, and we'll be back for our second working group on Friday to finalize our submission for HeroX Solve It.
Pleasure meeting you, Jason. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.